Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, is this part of my life over? Do you quietly ask yourself, will I ever feel wanted again? Do people my age even have sex? Or maybe the deepest fear of all, is anyone ever going to touch me like that again? You're not alone. These questions echo in the hearts of so many, silently, gently, often painfully, not because they've given up on love, but because the world rarely talks about it anymore, especially not for people over 60. But here's what you may not know. Sex doesn't vanish with age. Desire doesn't disappear the moment you see your first gray hair. And intimacy, it doesn't die. It evolves. For many, sex after 60 isn't worse. It's not empty. It's not awkward. It's better. Not better because your body feels the same, because it won't. Not better because you're more flexible or spontaneous or wild, because you might not be. But better because now you know what truly matters. When we're young, sex is often fast, loud, rushed, proving something, chasing something. But when we're older, it becomes something else. It becomes presence, stillness, connection. Dorothy was 71 when she sat across from her best friend and said quietly, "I don't think anyone will ever touch me again." Her husband had passed 7 years earlier. She'd spent those years caring for everyone else, her kids, her grandkids, even her sister during cancer treatment. But no one had cared for her, not in that way. Then one day, at her neighborhood book club, a new man joined the group. Roger, kind eyes, hands that shook when he poured tea. He was 74, widowed, quiet, but he noticed her in a way she hadn't felt in years. They didn't fall into bed after 2 dates. They didn't even kiss until the 6th, but when he touched her cheek in the middle of a winter walk, she felt something stir, not in her body, but in her soul. She remembered she was still alive. What most people forget is that intimacy isn't only physical. It starts in the eyes, in the listening, in the willingness to be seen again. And yes, the body changes. For women, there's dryness, sensitivity, even pain. For men, erections might not come as easily or last as long. But none of that means the end. It simply means we have to learn our bodies again. Like a dance you haven't done in years. It might feel awkward at first, but the rhythm is still inside you, waiting. George and Mary had been married for 40 years. For the last 10, they hadn't been intimate at all. Not out of anger or disinterest, it just faded. Routine replaced romance. Conversations became about bills, grandkids, and cholesterol. But one night, Mary found an old letter George had written during their first year of marriage. "I still remember how your skin smelled after the rain," it read. And something opened in her. She walked into the living room, handed him the letter, and said, "Do you remember this?" He nodded, and his eyes welled with tears. They didn't rush to the bedroom. They sat, held hands, and listened to a song they used to dance to. That night, they made love, not like young lovers, but like old souls who had found each other again. What makes sex better after 60 isn't fire. It's warmth, not urgency, but understanding. Because now you're not trying to impress anyone. You're not pretending to be someone you're not. You're simply allowing yourself to feel. The biggest enemy of intimacy in old age isn't the body, it's shame. Shame about wrinkles, about weight, about scars, about feeling too old. But here's a secret. Your body is not broken. It's experienced, it's lived in, it's yours. And there is nothing more beautiful than a body that has carried you through joy and grief and love and loss and still reaches out to be held. Geraldine, 70, once shared with her granddaughter, "I used to hide my arms, my belly, even my thighs. Then one day I met someone who looked at my stretch marks like they were artwork. He said, "These are the stories your skin tells, and I want to hear every one." That kind of acceptance only comes with time and the courage to let yourself be touched again. Let's be honest. Some days, desire feels distant. Your energy isn't the same. Your hormones aren't either. But desire doesn't vanish. It adapts. Sometimes it's reignited by laughter, by conversation, by reading something sensual, or simply lying next to someone you trust, letting your breath match theirs. And for those who are alone, please don't believe your time has passed. Love doesn't retire. It doesn't age out. It returns. Sometimes in unexpected ways. Frank was 78. He never thought he'd date again. But at a community poetry night, he met Lily. They bonded over Rumi and shared silence over coffee. One night, as she read aloud a poem about longing, he reached out and took her hand. "I didn't think I'd ever feel this again," he whispered. Neither did she. They didn't rush. They simply let it unfold. And weeks later, when they finally undressed in the soft light of evening, they weren't nervous. They were grateful. Because intimacy after 60 isn't about conquering, it's about honoring. Touch becomes sacred. Every wrinkle kissed is a reminder of years lived. Every breath shared is a moment borrowed from time. So yes, things change. You might need more foreplay, more patience. You might need lubricants, pillows, laughter, or deep breathing. But what you gain? Freedom, closeness, tenderness that young lovers rarely understand. If your body feels unfamiliar, take your time. Get to know it again. Touch it with kindness. Speak to it like an old friend. And if you feel shame, let it go. Your body is still deserving of pleasure. Your heart is still capable of opening. And your story isn't finished yet. Sex after 60 isn't a joke. It isn't taboo. It isn't shameful. It's real. It's sacred. It's yours. And if you've ever wondered whether you're still lovable, you are. If you've questioned whether you're still desirable, you are. If you've doubted whether your best years are behind you, they're not. Because what's ahead may be the most honest, most connected, most fulfilling intimacy you've ever known. If this message touched you, don't keep it to yourself. Someone you love may need to hear it. Someone who has quietly wondered if they'll ever be held again. Someone who still has so much love left to give. Share this with them. And if you'd like more stories, more warmth, more truth, subscribe to this channel. We talk about the things the world forgets. We say what others are afraid to. We honor what still matters. You are not alone, you are not forgotten, and you are not done. Thank you for being here.